Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and some Cossacks 3. Today I will be going through a replay of a game I played recently, and it was most of all just a very fun game to play, and also a bit of a lesson in not giving up too early, I suppose. And also I would recommend staying to the end of the video or just jump ahead, because I have some pretty exciting news to share with you at the end. But first of all, we will need to go through this replay. And starting off with going through the players and their different factions. In the bottom right corner in red, we have Victor Avatar. Probably I will just call him Victor in the future. Playing as England. To the bottom right, top right in blue, we have his teammate Milieu. In blue, playing as Spain. That's going to be interesting, of course, with their armored musketeers, for example. But we can go over to our team with my teammate at the top left, Sosag. Bright blue, playing as Piedmont. And finally, me at the bottom left in purple, playing as Prussia. Really powerhouse faction, of course. One of the most popular ones, I guess, to play. Especially when it comes to late game strength. They are absolutely amazing. So that's going through that, and I'm of course going to try to jump between players as much as possible, but let's start off from my point of view. Now, it's a 15-minute peacetime with capture full on, artillery full on, 5k starting resources, and of course market and diplomatic center activated as well. So I will go with a standard build from my end with 2 town halls, and I chose to build them down here and not at the top, because if I want to go for stone or wood later down the line, it might be a good recruitment spot here, and also they don't have too far to drop off food here if they would like. Now, I've also started working on a market. Usually, I want to go for a quick market build. So that means town halls, mill, storehouse, market. So I can start trading as fast as possible. I did send some peasants to start building a blacksmith right away. Very few, just 2 of them. So the market will be built faster. And now that that is done, I'm going to trade all of my coal and most of my iron for wood and stone, so that I can keep building my buildings. But the problem is here, you can see that I am a bit short on wood in order to get my town hall. So I did just go straight for barracks instead. Maybe I should have just traded some gold actually for the 3rd town hall, but I didn't do that. Instead, I sent 3 peasants to build an iron mine right away, because you know that as soon as we start recruiting musketeers, we will start running out of iron, so I don't want to interrupt the recruitment of my musketeers. Now I'm starting to work on the 3rd town hall, and the next step is going to be to get the academy up and running, and then start focusing on my economy until I can start building some stables. We can see that I have a pretty fortunate placement of at least 3 of my gold mines. So eventually I will need to start sending some musketeers to scout the terrain. We also need to build a wall, of course, to protect our base against raids. Let's go over to my teammate, see how he's doing. Sozag. Point-wise, he's doing very well. And his base is a bit more spread out. I have seen a lot of players actually do this recently, and it really goes against my school of thought or the way I try to build my base, but whatever works for you, I guess. 2 town halls, so I haven't really gotten the 3rd one yet. We can also see that he hasn't traded any of his coal or any of his iron in order to quicken up his infrastructure. He hasn't even built a market yet, it seems. So of course he hasn't traded anything. He's focusing on the academy, maybe going for more of a mercenary structure. Who knows? You can also see that his summoning point for peasants is pretty much all over the place. Usually you want to put them to food as quickly as possible, because you need that to upgrade the mines and also to upgrade your troops down the line. A lot of peasants on stone and wood right now, and it kind of makes sense if you just keep in mind that he doesn't have a market, so he can't really trade anything. So of course he wants to collect stone and wood so he can keep up his infrastructure, going for all kinds of mines right away, and also combining his troops with both pikes and musketeers. Also started upgrading them already, and this is of course something we don't usually see. With a lot of peacetime, we wait until the final moment to start upgrading our troops so that we can spend that money on trading and infrastructure and upgrades instead. Now, let's jump over to our adversaries. Victor, how are you doing? Look at that, tightly packed base. This is beautiful. 3 town halls, only 1 barrack though, but he's working on the academy as well as the first stable. England, I think, is one of the stronger factions as well. Pretty well-rounded faction, I would say. Pretty cheap progress to the 18th century if you look at food. Some factions, of course, have a much higher cost to go up to the 18th century. So they are a balanced, well-rounded faction in my point of view. If we go up to his teammate, Milieu, up to the top right, also 3 town halls, tightly packed base, and he is going with the Spanish musketeers, but ran out of iron. You can see their iron cost is a lot higher than regular musketeers, and that's probably because of the plates that they have. I mean, it makes sense that it will cost more iron to produce this. But he's also working already on his second stable, so very sound start already by Milieu. Point-wise, I'm actually starting to pull ahead a little bit, so I think it might be fun to see how my base is doing. Also working on my first stable, so I'm quite a bit behind Milieu when it comes to just stable production. But a fourth of the iron cost for my musketeers. That is, of course, great. And my food economy is actually looking pretty gosh darn fine. I've already started setting up palisades, because if we look at my base, we do have 1 very good forward defensive point right here. So I want to make sure to capture that one and already start building my palisades. Just sending like 1 peasant to each of the corners and 1 or 2 with some decent intervals in between. You don't really need to send 20 peasants to start building 1 palisade, because it goes so quickly to build them. So much better, just select 1 or 2, draw out the palisade you want built, and then take 1 or 2 and position them throughout the palisade so it can get built. 6 minutes left of peacetime, working on the second stable now. And I'm going on default mode right now with musketeers as well as dragoons. Just full out firepower. I haven't gotten my diplomatic center yet, which might be an issue later down the line. But first of all, I wanted to focus on at least my second stable. Now I can afford a diplomatic center because I've traded some of my food away. But I think what I'm going to want to do is go for the third stable. So yes, now I'm trading even more to get up to the 10k wood so I can get the stable and get more firepower from the dragoons. Palisade is getting built, and look at our opponents. Something happened there that made them just absolutely skyrocket in points, and that might be the diplomatic center that they've already started setting up mercenaries, and that is going to help them get points quickly, because I think you get points for population and upgrades and infrastructure. So of course this boosts the population quite a bit. Only 2 stables for England though, and much more tightly packed base when it comes to the wall as well. You can see some of the mines are outside of the base, and this of course makes them very vulnerable to raids. And it's unfortunate that one of them is the gold mine, because that is, of course, the key resource that we want to keep. Sending a lot of peasants to build a stone wall, because they take a long time to build. Just look at this. The upside, of course, is that they need archers or grenadiers or artillery to bring this sucker down. And they do have a lot of health points, so it takes a while to bring them down. His teammate, Milieu, is going for the same thing, but this is unfortunate. There will be a little gap in the wall here. We can see that if you press Q, we can see if there is any open parts of the wall. And I think he's gonna fix that He absolutely should, at least. Sending a lot of peasants to Stonewall as well. And with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, you can see that he's starting to mass up sick Cossacks for the early raids. Also already has the 2 artillery depots. So I would say Milieu looks like a pretty experienced player in my point of view. But he also has some very vulnerable mines in front of his base that is, of course, very vulnerable for raiding, and they will be easily be destroyed. And remember that we have capture on, so peasants can be captured, neutral or civilian buildings can be captured, and mines are, of course, included in that. But so many peasants are on building the stone wall right now, and of course that's reasonable. Let's see, he hasn't gotten the race builder's salary yet, so it's gonna take full time to build these things. He could trade for that upgrade so that he can get the wall built faster, but he also hasn't gotten the wood cutting efficiency upgrade, so that he's gotten 2 stables already. It's actually a pretty decent job for that, but now all peasants go to build a stone wall. Less than 2 minutes left of peacetime, and more sick Cossacks are coming out from Victor as well. So it looks like they might very well be going for some early raiding as soon as the peacetime is up. Let's go check on my teammate, how he's doing. This is not looking good for defensive purposes. He has not finished his palisade yet, and he's only covered like half of his base, and he's building palisades towards my base. So this is going to be an issue in the future, that's for sure. He has done a great job building on mines though, and he has 25 on gold, so they're not fully upgraded. And so far, he still hasn't gotten the marketplace. Maybe he's used to playing without it, but no marketplace and no diplomatic center. That, of course, leads to a chink in his armor, so to speak, or weakness in his armor. He is also upgrading all of his troops. So this is not very sound financial planning, because you want to focus your resources on one type of unit. And this, of course, costing him a lot. Also, yeah, since he hasn't traded, he should be able to get some decent upgrades. He has already gotten the harness to increase or decrease the recruitment's time for cavalry. He has 2 stables, so he is going to get the dragoons. 15, yeah, we are on it right now. Let's go. Yes. If we look to our opponent's point of view, you can see one big group of Cossacks coming out right now. I also send out some Cossacks, but it will not be big enough to deal with these guys. And Milieu also has a big army of sick Cossacks. How many? 127 to be exact. And I don't know if they already are aware of the weakness in Zozag's wall, but they are absolutely getting ready for it, and it looks like they coordinated very well as well. And here we are going to see, and here we can see the problem when the palisade doesn't get built. We will have one group of sick Cossacks breaking through here, and another big group of sick Cossacks coming in from the northeast, and this base is now going to be raided hard. But I'm doing some raiding as well. I did take 1 iron mine there. I will try to jump between as quickly as possible. I did get some peasants and already started building an English civilization. But first of all, we need to focus on defending Solzag's base, because if he decides to quit, then I will not be in a good position at all. So in order to defend him, I sent my dragoons, all of them, up to try to help clear out his base, which is being completely ruined right now. It's ruined. And the sick Cossacks are just cutting through the dragoons, doing some tactical retreats, but there are even more coming in from the other side. And this base is not looking very good for now. But my dragoons are coming in. I did manage to destroy all of the mines outside of Victor's base. And with the dragoons coming in, we can also see that the pikes did a great job in killing the sick Cossacks. So it wasn't necessarily a bad choice, now looking back, that he got the pikemen. The problem is, of course, that they are so slow, and you need to set up some guards for the mines when you get the pikes. I need to have my dragoons actually run in to help him, and now that's what I did. coming in to help. Hopefully it won't be too late, but we will be able to actually clear out these sick Cossacks. They are getting cut down quickly, but we can also see that town halls are gone. A lot of the mines are gone. Not a lot of the central ones, but 2 gold mines, 1 iron mine, a 3rd gold mine, and the 4th. So all of the gold mines are down. No market to trade for resources. This is not looking good for Zozag. I sent up sick Cossacks as well, so we can potentially chase them down. But now we can see we managed to clear the base out. Still some buildings to recapture up here. But for now, we have a bit of a peaceful time. I'm starting to set up some cannons and also start building a stone wall to protect against the most vulnerable point, basically. I need to close this gate as well, because this looks really risky. Really risky indeed. And started with the blacksmith and barracks as soon as possible. Also got some pikemen just in case I need it. I have set up some defensive units, guard the mines. Only some of them though, like the northern ones. Now, finally, Zozag's base has been reconquered, so to speak. And in the meantime, I'm also being a nuisance, capturing mines from Milieu. But he was really smart here, actually, because he emptied the mines and destroyed them right away. Maybe we can't actually capture... We can't capture peasants, I don't think. But only mines. That's the thing. So he sent out the peasants, destroyed the mines, and I didn't get a second civilization from that. But we can see that a big army is coming from Zozag, or from Victor. And here we will have another battle in the early stages of the game. And this is basically the full army of Victor that's coming at us. And I only have some dragoons and some musketeers. Or some dragoons and some sick Cossacks. I don't think I will be able to deal with this. But fortunately enough, musketeers are just walking around. But my sick Cossacks deal so little damage, so they are easily cut down. Sending out even more sick Cossacks to potentially attack the dragoons here from the back. And capture some artillery if possible. Now we are starting to cut into them, but the sick Cossacks so weak, sending out more dragoons to help, because this could be a very favorable attack for us. But just when we thought we could have a bit of a breather, we see that Milieu is sending another army into Zozag's base. Zozag he actually has an army. He has a lot of pikemen, he has some musketeers, he just needs to get them rallied up. But now I need to, I decided that now I need to actually start sending more of my army or more of my reinforcements. So I just selected all my military and have them start marching up to free Zozag's base, because he's 2v1'd hard right now. I was so fortunate that they didn't attack me. But now we need to be quick so we are not too late and they are able to destroy Zozag's army. Keep in mind that me and Zozag, we weren't communicating at all during this game. Maybe we should, but I was just focused on having a decent infrastructure, military, and keeping all of my... Oh my god, now counting the cannonballs as well. And keeping all of my builds somewhat in order. But I keep sending everything, and now we have 2 blacksmiths, or 2 barracks that send 17th century musketeers, running out of a lot of resources. 2 stables are on the way. And also round shears from the DC, from the diplomatic center. So I will, of course, be able to build a big army pretty quickly compared to everyone else. Also now started to work on the 18th century barracks. And I would very much like to see me getting the Montgolfier so we can actually see what's going on all over the map. But now we can see Zozag, he is still hanging on, just barely. Both of the barracks are going down due to cannon fire, but here comes my reinforcements as well. Sending up the round shears with cannons to kind of create some kind of a defensive perimeter towards Milieu, and sending in the musketeers to hopefully be able to clean up these dragoons and maybe even capture some artillery if I'm lucky. Gold went down. I wonder what that could be if I'm getting the Montgolfier. It is not, so I'll need to trade about a bunch to get it. But now, finally, we have cleared out Zozag's base, and now we are on the offensive. Setting up the cannons to start blasting down this gate. Because if we just take a look here, the gate 32,000 and 50,000. So always aim at the gates if you want to destroy, if you want to get into a base quickly. Because, of course, this takes 2 slots, so it's easier to hit, and also much less HP, or less, less HP basically than the regular wall does. So for now, we are pushing through. We can also see that Victor is coming in with reinforcements as well. He's getting as many troops as he can, sending out some howitzers as well. He hasn't gotten an 18th century barrack yet, but he still has a lot of other stuff. So he will send up an army to try to reinforce. Now we have the full map. So I'm massing up my army here, just working on bringing down this this wall. The one big issue with my entire playthrough this round is that I hadn't gotten any firepower upgrades. So my musketeers and my cannons, mostly my musketeers, I guess, don't deal as much damage as they should, which is something always worth putting money into. But now I'm running out of iron, so we can't shoot, which means I will need to trade for it. I have built on all of my mines, but hopefully I realize this soon and we'll start to trade. We'll see that when this starts jumping up. Gold is also running out because remember, I'm getting mercenaries from 2 diplomatic centers. So my economy is not the best when it comes to gold production. I have traded now, finally, from iron, but I am being outflanked right now by Victor. But I don't want to send all my units down. Instead, I'm sending one group of troops into Milieu's base to start going to work on his garrison. You would need a storehouse there, actually. So that is looking good. I'm also starting to turn my artillery to face the reinforcing army from Victor. And this is where everything is decided if we are able to take the base or not. Finally, I have somewhat of a foothold, and Milieu is sending in his peasants as well. Not all of them, but some of them. And they are still going to be able to kill some of my troops. We still have reinforcing troops from Victor being more defensive, or more... Yep, that's GG from Victor. And soon we should see one from Milieu as well. So far he hasn't killed all of his troops and buildings, but it might just be a second away. Now we can see that I've stopped shooting, and that is a GG. So this was, like I said, a fun game to play. Cossacks made some errors. He still hasn't gotten a market, but he still managed to hold on very well, actually. And looking at the situation he was up against, being early raided by almost 200 sick Cossacks, just running through his base, burning everything, I think he held on very, very well and also came back very efficiently. So kudos to you, Cossacks. And also, I'm very happy that I was able to build the second civilization with the English, so I could get more cavalry, more mercenaries, and more musketeers. That was great for me. And also, I did start getting some 18th century musketeers here, just in case we needed them as a defensive measure. We can see that they've started to shoot, and I guess it was a bit of a mutiny from some of my round shears, but we managed to clear that up, fortunately, with some strategic trades. So this was a lot of fun. I hope you learned something. And now to the exciting news. I have joined community in a Cossacks community of experienced players, modders, etc. And I think they are led by Nylik. And at least he's like the project leader, I suppose, over this. And we are going to build or write the Cossacks 3 manual book with a lot of interesting stuff like mods and build orders, etc. So it's going to be a very fun read, and I recommend that you keep a lookout for that one. And some of the content, like some of the tutorials, for example, might even find their way onto this channel. And if I understand it correctly, the first edition will be in Ukrainian, but there will also be an English version for you English-speaking people out there. So I am very excited about this project, and I've been looking forward to finding a book like this myself. So it's actually going to be one purchase from me for sure. So keep an eye out for that, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a great day and take care. I will see you in the next one.